Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 235 at scavengerlife.com.
Okay, so hello everybody. Welcome to
Trash Elf Radio.
our life. Okay, this week, people were definitely buying after Christmas. It seems like it's following what many of us have been talking about.
Yes.
That sales seem to pick up right after Christmas because people are either, they get a money,
Yeah.
or they're buying things they didn't get from other people.
I find that sometimes January is a better month than December. It has been in the past, which seems backwards.
And someone on the blog actually had an interesting hypothesis that, you know, as online buying is evolving, that more people are not buying close to it's Christmas, that kind of it's minute
Right.
a rush, because people can sit at work, they're buying all their gifts in like it's November.
Yeah, October, November.
Right, because they can just do it from work and they can get deals. So we certainly didn't see that a rush of buying right before it's Christmas time.
Right.
But then I guess because of online buying, then people didn't go on after work and buy after Christmas because there's things that they want and, you know.
Right, and like you said, they might have gotten money or gift certificates or something like that.
But who knows? All I know is that we had another $1,000 day. It's this week.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is one of those rare kind of moments for us.
I mean, just stuff is selling all day, and then you add it up at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You're
and
like, whoa.
You know, and that happens because there's always like a couple big sales that happen.
Big high dollar items. Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, we can never predict those days. All we can do is just have stuff up. You know,
that's it.
And you know, and it's for us. It's like a mixture of, it's this particular day, and we'll kind of get into it more. It was like a mix of furniture and clothes and like weirdo vintage stuff and some. It's new in box items that we'd bought at a clearance. So
yeah.
It was just all over.
It's just
the place.
random.
Yeah.
I mean, furniture. It's great to sell furniture because generally furniture is going to be a high dollar item, so that kind of bumps that total up, you know, a lot, hopefully. So
yeah. And you know, and when we have, and then we had an overall good week, and I always have two feelings when that happens. It's either that we did really good because of our hard work.
Right.
I have that feeling, you know, like we earned this.
Right.
But then the other side is like, it is a mystery why anyone would buy our stuff. I mean, how lucky are we? Like, you know, I look at some of the stuff people are buying, I'm like,
what? I
could have never predicted someone would buy this, like, vintage, Lazy Susan, like, flour spice container.
But you did predict it because you bought it and you put it online.
Yeah, but
so somewhere in your mind,
it's just such a leap of faith, you know.
Well, there's this other thing that sold this morning. It's the same thing. It's like this little aspirin tin from probably the 60s or 70s, and I was listing it. I only listed it the other day, and I was like, "Who the hell is going to buy this?" And someone bought it.
Yep.
$20.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like. There are collectors for these things. That's why we see them in stores and flea markets, and we're like, that's interesting. Yeah. Someone's going to think that's interesting.
So, I don't know. I just try and, you know, we definitely get excited when our eBay business is going well, but I always try and temper it with a lot of gratitude and humbleness that just part of it is totally out of our control.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do have in its control is listing. Just like get it in front of people.
Right.
But then whether or not people buy, it's a totally
It's not up to us. I know. That's what makes it so crazy. I mean, you just have to think about it. That's what retail is like. You know, the entire retail sector just depends on people wanting to come buy stuff.
Yeah. But again, I'm just going to say this point again because I think it's been clear to me. The difference between us and like a retailer is advertising. So, you know, a big retailer, they can push sales by advertising, and they're convincing people that they need this new tablet or this new dog food. You know, like they're enticing people with sales. I mean, for people like us, we're just like little small tiny fish out there in the ocean, and it's no advertising. We're just hoping,
right?
You know,
well, it's eBay. eBay is
someone types in Lazy Susan.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's why you pay eBay fees, because
Yeah,
eBay
right.
is the medium.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know? That's the marketplace.
Maybe, we don't have like cable television. We just watch it's Netflix and online stuff. So I don't know about advertising. Maybe eBay has a huge, advertising campaign and they're doing that for us. I don't know.
Yeah, they might. I have no idea. I would love to know that.
Bonanza, which is this other online selling site that many of us have talked about.
Bonanza.
Bonanza.
It used to be called Bonanza.
That's what it was once called?
Yeah, but they got the URL.
And it's
Bonanza.
just like this kind of like, it's like eBay.
Yeah.
And all any of us do is just you sign up and it sucks in all of your eBay
You sync it.
listings.
You're like, here,
great.
take my eBay. It's incredible.
Well, anyway, normally, it's like one thing sells here, one thing sells there. It's like very rare. This week we made more on Bonanza than in our second eBay store.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Almost $400 worth. I mean, every day we've sold like 2 things. So,
and some of them were high dollar.
Yeah.
Some of them were $40, $50, $60.
And for me, and again, I'm speaking purely just speculation here. I believe people are buying through Google
Shopping.
Shopping, so they don't ever go to Bonanza. Just Bonanza gets all of our listings into Google Shopping, and people are shopping there.
So there's 2 things that I have thoughts about. One, I understand the Google Shopping thing, but I wonder if Bonanza was doing advertising other places, because it really felt like this insane surge. Just all of a sudden, it was like all these Bonanza sales.
Maybe.
My other thought is, do eBay results come up in Google Shopping?
I don't know.
Because there was a big controversy about it. Like eBay didn't have the right metadata, search metadata, and Google was like, we're not showing your results.
And Google was like, or eBay was like spamming or was
something, or Google thought eBay was spamming them or whatever. But so it's interesting that people would buy the exact same thing that I have on eBay through Bonanza, through Google Shopping. When you're like, why isn't it showing up twice on Google?
Yeah. So before we go any further, we just want to
speculation.
Say those are speculations. If anyone knows specifically, maybe someone from Bonanza might know too. We would love to hear the answer.
Yeah.
Like how it fits into the whole ecosystem. But it's for us, again, it's just nice.
It's great
to be able to have that and not have to list.
Yeah, it's like already listed.
I mean, like, Ryan started our Etsy experiments, and some people on the blog were saying that they were having good it's luck. And we have, how many things?
I think I have 30. I only have 30 things.
Yeah, I mean, it's only
listed.
30 items, but we haven't gotten any action at all.
Yeah, I have nothing going on there.
And I mean, we need to follow our own advice, and if it's going to be a real experiment, we need to list a couple hundred things, but it's just tough.
It's just time consuming,
With Bonanza, it's great because it just sucks in eBay stuff, so it's really no work.
Like, I didn't have to do anything.
Etsy, you have to go through it and you have to list. And
I mean, the good thing about Etsy, listing on Etsy, is you can handpick stuff. Like, I want to handpick the more vintage, quirky, unique stuff, which we have a lot of, but there's a lot of stuff we don't have that's that. And so, with Bonanza, you can sell anything just like on eBay. But Etsy, it's really like, it's got to be handmade or it's got to be vintage.
Yeah.
So it's a different marketplace, which is good because then you can sell different things for, higher, better prices. But
I guess we're all just kind of experimenting. And like we always say, it's just a matter of time. I mean, time is the one thing that we don't have enough of.
Right.
And so we have to always think like where we want to put our time. I noticed, so every week we post a What Sells
video.
A video. Normally on Wednesdays where, as Ryan just shows, as she's packing, she shows like what sold that week.
Right.
Just to help give people an idea, like this is what sold and for how much. And, there's always, it seems like lately, someone that says on the blog, they comment, I can't believe the prices that you get for this stuff.
Yep.
And, I'm like, yeah, I can't believe it either.
I'll even say in the video sometimes, because we do list it and forget it. So I'll have an item and I'll be like, how much did I price that?
Right.
How they paid full price for this? That's amazing.
But the thing is, I cannot stress enough. It's not because we're super cool, awesome, we have any kind of secrets. I cannot stress enough that it's all about patience. I mean, maybe if you need to do it more where if you say, it took us 2 years to sell this item.
Yeah, I have to look that stuff up. I do. I try to say, look, I've had this for a long time.
So, and again, people are like, you hold on to something for 2 years? But Again, I'm going to do a quick breakdown. It costs us 60 cents a year to have an item up on eBay.
Right.
Now, often it's less because eBay does a free listings, and we get listings for free as part of our subscription. So it could be less. But even if we paid what we should pay, 60 cents.
Right.
So if it takes 2 years for an item to sell, we're paying $1.20 to have the item up.
Right.
So if we get $30 for an item, it only costs us $1.20 to list.
We probably bought it for $1.
Yeah,
so,
we bought it for $1. Final value free fees on $30 would be like $3. So we still make $25.
Yeah.
For that item.
Yeah.
Pure profit. You know? And I just think that's how it works for us. The listing fees are not a problem.
Right.
And that's different than if you're like in a hurry to sell an item and you put it up and it's got to sell, it's within a month, and you put it on auction or you it's discounted and something sells for like $9.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it happens. And, and sometimes it's a question ourselves. I mean, we've been going through our inventory, just kind of like changing our storage patterns, and we're like, man, we've had this for 3 years.
I mean, I sold this like warming tray the other day. I was like, oh my God, it was on sale. I sold it for $17, but I'm like, it was at the very back of the shelf. You could barely find it. You're like, oh, it's like the last thing at the corner of the shelf. We really
do have things that we just forget about.
I completely was like, I can't even believe it.
But the thing is, it's not really costing us anything. It's more just about it's there. So, I don't know. That works for us, and that's why when we do those videos and people are like, you got $25 for that thing?
It's like, but I waited.
Yeah.
I didn't sell it in 2 weeks.
Right.
I was like...
because we're always there, you just wait for that moment when everyone that has stuff on auctions, all that gets sold off. Everyone that just a fire sale, thing, those get sold off, and there will be those moments where like we're the one thing that's up there, or we're the best quality up there.
Exactly. So it's truly list it and forget it. I mean, that is how we make our living. Is list it and forget it.
Okay.
I mean, I put stuff on sale every once in a while just to move old stuff, and I have been doing it lately because there's a lot of old stuff. But
because we've been redoing our storage,
right? Exactly. So we see, I'm gonna move this. You know?
Get rid of it. I want to give myself a lot of credit.
Yes, I want to give you a lot of credit. Oh my God!
So I have finished taking photographs of those 20 plus tubs of death items that we have.
Death bins.
Yeah, and we call them death bins. These are those piles, those bins that I'm sure all of us have, where stuff that you pick or you go scavenge, and it doesn't look like it's fun to list, so you just throw it in a bin.
It's not fun to list.
And so I think I started in June.
Yes.
And I think I forgot the total numbers, like 20, 22.
Something like that.
And those bins actually started growing because I started finding more boxes around our house. So I've basically done all of those.
Yeah.
I have actually just one last kind of run I have to do. So it took about 6 months, but there were several months of travel.
Yeah, we did have months of travel, but... The great thing is, a lot of that stuff is selling. I mean, I sell that stuff every day.
I mean, so now on our porch, instead of 20 closed bins of stuff that isn't on eBay, now we have these 20 bins of stuff that is on eBay.
Because we can't fit it in our storage. So the bins are still out there. They're just listed now, which is good. That's better. They should be listed. And I'm pulling from them every day. Yep. So that's great. That's been amazing.
And the fact that we don't list it with a template.
It's so fast
anymore.
It's ridiculous.
Exciting because it seems like you're almost caught up. With me at all times.
Yeah,
I almost can't take pictures fast enough. So that's great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So 2016, Ryan.
Yes.
It's a new year.
Yes.
I wanted to talk to you about some of our strategy for this year.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
See, Ryan doesn't like to do this.
Let's talk about our strategy.
We still have a lot of items that we've kind of hoarded that we need to get through.
To list.
Yeah, to list. And
yes.
I'd really love to do that this winter time. We have a video job in April.
Yeah.
So that's set.
Yeah.
Plane tickets, we're like ready to go.
Right.
So we have January. February, March, half of April.
Half of April, yeah.
So we need to do all this artwork.
Yes. Oh my God.
I do have some death bins. They're a different kind of death bin,
Yes.
but they're clothing accessories.
Scarves.
Purses.
Belts.
Ties. Belts. We have...
And all those things sell.
Right.
All the time.
No, it's true. But I mean, these are things that we've been collecting for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So I have to do that. We have a table over there full of like little jewelry.
Smalls, yeah.
It's
all
our
me.
smalls tables.
Playing cards,
Little jewelry. Lipsticks.
Yeah.
Postcards,
Yep.
photographs, all these stamps.
Oh my God. Now those that's commission. We would never buy stamp collections.
And then the other thing is in at your office, we still have clothes.
Yeah.
We have
Now those clothes came from a death bin from
Right.
storage. So that's not new clothes that we bought.
and we talked about that the other
Yeah.
week where we took all these things in, and I told you that it's either we list this or
we
donate it.
We
And so we're
donated
gonna
a
list it.
lot.
So we just said a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But we have 3.5 months. And
Yeah.
I think a concerted effort, we could, at least eat into it,
Yeah. Oh, I think so. We
Good.
just have to do it.
And that's the thing, though. We aren't buying as much as we normally do. I mean,
Right.
really, for the past 6 months. I mean, really since June.
It's very minimal.
We are still buying stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more just casually. And the good thing is, when we buy it, I take pictures of it that
Right
same
away,
week. So
yeah.
none of that's getting added to, like, our extra piles.
Yeah.
And so,
That's helpful.
yeah.
We also have to redo another house.
It's true.
Add that in.
Yeah.
Well, this stuff has to pay for it, so all
Right.
these things are going to pay for it.
But that's one reason why I want to really try and focus on this during the winter time, because we
Yeah.
aren't going to be doing a lot of house stuff for
Till
these
it
next,
gets warm.
2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And once we really start focusing on redoing that house,
Yeah.
we aren't going to have much time
Right.
for this stuff. So that's why, that's what we always try and do with eBay is like when there's nothing else going on, we try and just full force, full time
Yeah.
eBay.
Yeah.
And then we can then go away from eBay and be working on houses, do video jobs, travel.
Yeah.
And then that stuff is selling while we're doing that.
And we ship it 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
Or however long.
That's right.
Yep. So we had renters
Yep.
this week or two between holidays.
Yep.
Holiday times. We cleaned the rental house 3 times, which it can get a little bit tiring.
Yeah, I mean, this week, we only bring it up because it is part of our eBay life, was that, we had to balance. We were cleaning the house. We had to flip it 3 times.
Yeah,
So
which is great.
Right. So we were fully booked. We had people staying for 2 nights at a time.
Yep.
And so it takes us, 2 hours to clean.
Yeah.
But it takes us really about 4 hours after you're driving and getting ready. So it's
And then
like
waiting for a renter.
Right, so it's like a whole afternoon.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
so it was good. We had 3 renters this week that booked 6 nights.
Yeah.
Who paid $1,400.
I mean,
That was great.
I have to remember too, like, other than the maintenance of the house and making sure this is how I think of it in my head. All the systems are working. The water works, the heat works, the electricity works, the Wi-Fi works. Those are all systems in this house. And we're in charge of keeping those going. But the thing that you do the most is clean.
Right.
For a rental. Like, you clean. That's what you do.
Right.
And do laundry.
And we actually
cleaning,
found
but-
a couple. This guy emailed us through the blog, and
Yeah.
he had found our podcast, and he sells on eBay and Amazon, I think, and he lives a couple hours away from us.
Yeah.
And he actually said that he bought a cabin
Here,
right in our area.
like, I know exactly where it is.
that he rents out.
Yeah.
But he actually, handles the reservations online, and he talks to people, and then he's hired a local guy to clean it and kind of be a manager
Right.
a little bit. And the guy charges $60 to clean the place.
Right.
I feel like our house would be a little bit more because it's bigger.
It's big, yeah.
But I would love to actually see what kind of cleaning job he does. Like, is it
Yeah.
is that $60 is going in kind of sweeping, wiping counters, emptying trash, and changing the beds, or is it like scrubbing and dusting and like...
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what we do, is we try and do like a deep clean every time, just so there's no accumulation of like...
But the good thing is, because we honestly use that book called Speed Cleaning, which I link to on Shampoo and Booze if anyone's interested, it's incredible. Because what you do is you go through a room very systematically and quickly.
Right.
Like, you can deep clean quickly.
Right.
You don't have to scrub down. It's like, dust this surface.
Right.
1, 2, 3, it's done.
Right.
You don't have to like go back and forth 3 times, you know?
Right.
So learning those techniques allows you to do a deep clean in 2 hours.
Right.
You know?
But I feel like, and we won't go much, it's more on this for those of you that don't care about cleaning houses.
Yeah.
But it's something we've learned. So it takes 2 of us 2 hours to fully clean a house, and it's spotless. Where people are like, this place is awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like you could also go in and the 2 of us could clean that place in half an hour.
Yeah.
If we did it in a much less like
thorough way.
Right. You know, like where you go in.
See, I feel like the amount of tasks that we have wouldn't allow us to do it.
Right. But see, I don't think you're understanding me.
Oh, you would skip tasks
if you did it in a different way.
Yeah.
I think that there would be a way to clean it in half an hour
see.
that would not be as thorough.
Right. Okay.
So that's my point.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And I'm just wondering if that's what a $60 job is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not.
Right.
Anyway, but that was good for us, you know, that this second business that we've invested in through our eBay profits is doing well. And I did not think this time of year that we would be as busy as we are.
Yeah,
so.
it's the holidays, so that helps. People are visiting for the holidays.
Something else we did, is related to eBay, is we rent 2 storage spaces in town. And it's mainly because we were buying furniture and we had boxes, and there was actually some stuff from another project. But we actually were determined to downsize and only have 1 storage space.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We actually emptied out a whole storage space.
What was great is we cut ties because you called the guy and you said, we are going to be out by January 1st. So we're not paying for the next month. Didn't he say, can you get out earlier? And we were like, sure. Will you, give us the money back for half the month? And he said no.
Right. I was like,
and you're like, then I'm not going to leave earlier.
And then I'm saying the whole time. But yeah, I mean, that had been important. We kind of just
told him first.
I kind of made ourselves have a deadline because this guy is expecting us to not be there.
Right.
Another thing that helped us clear out our storage was we've just sold a lot of furniture.
Yes.
I think we've sold almost all of our furniture now.
Right.
That we've bought over the past 12, 18 months.
Yeah.
So,
well, one piece was huge, and once we moved that piece, we were like, oh, we could clean the storage out for real.
Right.
You know?
So, that's good.
So that saves us $135 a month, which is huge.
Yeah.
That's a big savings.
Yeah. So this is something I kind of wanted to talk about before we do our numbers. And I just wanted to run this by you.
Yes.
See if it relate to this. I know that when I was younger and I was, becoming more independent, getting out of the house and working, because of the way I was raised in my family life, when I look for work, I was often also looking for like a family and work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And
yeah.
And I don't know if other people do this, but I know that I was not really looking for wealth. I was looking more for like stability, like a sense of belonging and purpose.
Right.
You know?
You were looking for a community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a community.
Like when I worked in kitchens, like when I was, it's worked as a cook or that's what I look for, was that sense of like
camaraderie.
Yeah, because I didn't really have a family that I felt that way with, and I wasn't really close to as my family, so that's what I was always.
Yeah.
And that was even true till my very last job where I worked for somebody else.
Right. Well, and the thing about your last job, which was at a television station, you did find that because people were there because they were into media and making, television and, video and stuff like that. So,
but that's what was so painful. And it wasn't the reason why I left, but it certainly helped was we got a new like boss, like an
executive director,
yeah, that ran the station, and he was, not a nice guy,
right,
and didn't really understand what we were doing, and he kind of like started to like pull all that apart and make it not feel that way,
right.
But I guess it really didn't work a lot of jobs, so I don't know. Did you ever try to find that in work?
No, because I mean, okay, when I did have jobs, it was when I was in college, and I had camaraderie in college. I went to art school, for God's sake.
Right.
Like, I went to a small art college in Boston, and...
Mass Art.
It's the only public art college in the country.
Yep.
There are 1,500 people there, so you pretty much know everybody.
Right.
So that was my family. Sure. I mean, and I am close to my family, so... Yep. That helps.
Some people have happy families.
Yeah, I wouldn't call my family happy. I would call it.
I think it's happier
closer.
Now.
Yeah. Families are complicated, but
I guess I only bring this up because I've heard people on the blog talk about. I think it's Anna that said, leaving a full-time job and just doing eBay, she misses.
Right.
Just adult companionship, and there is a sense of, and I mean, I'm not trying to speak for her specifically, but I just wonder if that's something that stops people from quitting their jobs and doing eBay because they like the family aspect.
Right.
Or maybe
it's a social aspect. It's a community that you're a part of.
And part of me feels like that's not like the way I was doing it probably wasn't healthy. I probably had not the right expectations for a job, like I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know if that's a good thing to expect out of work. Is that I expect, But
the thing is, you met a lot of close friends there. I mean, people that you still visit when you're in New York. So that's not abnormal to get close friends in a place like that. But
I just feel like that, that expectation I had too always set me up for disappointment because it's like I said, once like a new boss comes in or something changes, someone can be like this, that boss isn't even realizing that there is a family feeling in a business and is changing it to do what a business should do, and that's to make money or be more efficient or whatever else like that. Anyway, I'll wrap this up just to say I think I found that in what we're doing now. We have a little family here in our little eBay business here.
Because it's just us.
And our cats. This is great, This is what I always
No,
wanted.
I mean, I think part of it too, not just like camaraderie or like you can relate to other people or whatever, because it's just us. Well, it's all these people who are listening right now.
And why, I mean, I feel like this is, I don't want to say the podcast is part of our business, but it's a part of our world.
What we're doing,
and that this is what I always was looking for. Was to be able to spend my day doing productive tasks.
Right.
To have a say in what I'm doing.
Exactly.
And to feel like it's worth something to work with somebody. Who shares that goal.
Well, I think that's a huge part of it, having control over that. And I don't want to say out of the outcome, because you never have control out of the outcome, really. But you have control over, how it's run and how you do things and how you try to control the outcome, So that's very different when you're... Well, it reminds me of when you're saying, like, you have high expectations for, like, the last job you were at. In the last job I was at, I had very high expectations for what it could become. And you're there and you're working and you're creating a community and you're having camaraderie with people and getting along with people and whatever. And then those expectations that you have for what it could become are never met. And you're totally let down, and that's why you're like, see you later.
Or, I would just realize, like, oh, this business I'm working for does not have the same expectations I do. Like, I'm totally putting on things onto this business that are never going to happen. Like, I feel like in a lot of work environments I was in, just the workers would come together and be like a family just because I think it's a natural thing. We all need to do that. But that's like something that happens like outside of what the business is supposed to be. I can't remember. Maybe I'm trying to think of a business, like a company I work for, where the boss tried to instill that and appreciated that.
Yeah. I think it's rare.
Yeah.
Unless it's an actual family business.
Right.
And, sometimes the family businesses are a nightmare.
I've never worked for a family business before, yeah.
But
anyway.
But I think for us here, we have control over what we want to do, Yeah. And we didn't have to buy another house.
Right.
But we wanted to do that and we're excited to do it. So it's like you're having control over like this other aspect of your business. Whereas when you're working for someone else, you're like, I really want to do this thing. And they're like, no.
Right. Well, it goes back to the thing we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where it's you're either going to solve your own problems or you're going to solve someone else's.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're solving other people's problems and you're like, why am I solving this problem?
Yeah, exactly.
So the other idea I had was I wanted to talk to you about, and this is things you laugh at me about. These are some of my big ideas I've been having.
Yeah.
Some of you may have heard of there's a movement called like the slow food movement. It started 10 years ago. This idea of like, there's so much like fast food and this idea of just eating quickly and like getting something and putting in the microwave. And, like I got to eat as fast as I can. And there's this thing about slow food, like you should just enjoy it,
Yeah.
Enjoy the cooking, enjoy the
process
eating with people.
Of it. Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
If you Google it. And I feel like that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're doing slow business. Instead of like this idea that our business has to get really big and we got to make a bunch of money and we got to make more money next year, and it can't ever stop.
Empire building.
It's got to grow forever. Right. We're consciously running a slow business.
Yeah.
Where we need to. It's important for us to enjoy every bit of this.
Yeah.
We're never going to keep making more and more money. I mean, maybe, but it's not, part of what we're trying to do specifically.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we bought another house to do a rental to make more money, because that is what's going to happen. But it's on a sustainable, we hope, level. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like we can still manage these things ourselves.
I think it's just less important for us to grow quickly.
Right.
Our business. It's more important that whatever it is we're building lasts for our lifetime.
Yes.
Like that's what's important. Like this isn't something we're doing and it's going to end in 5 years and then we're going to do something else. I mean,
and it's got to get done tomorrow.
Like we're trying to do this to where I'm 68 years old and still selling old shoes on the internet.
Right. Oh, that sounds great.
Why not?
Just kidding. Well, it reminds me of redoing a house, because that's the perfect analogy where, there are a lot of people who are, they're flipping a house and they got to get it done in a month and da-da-da. And for us, like the new house that we just bought, we're like, yeah, it'll be done by June. I don't think it's going to be done by June.
Right.
But that's okay, because we're like, I want it to be done when it's done and it's perfect, beautiful, everything we want.
And I mean, again, maybe we aren't making the right choices, but for us, we're deciding we're going to put a $12,000 metal roof on this thing versus just get like a $4,000
or less.
No, it'd probably be about
for an asphalt,
for cheap asphalt.
Really, I thought it would be cheaper than that.
I don't know.
It depends.
I mean, it depends, but instead of just getting some guys to come put a cheap asphalt roof that will last 10 years.
Right.
We're investing because and we're like this roof is going to last 50 years or more.
Plus,
because that's what we're trying to invest in.
Right, exactly. Well, and the other thing is we've had experience with slow processes. They can be painful. I will tell you, by the time we were getting done with the farmhouse, I was like, we got to be done at this point. But the farmhouse is beautiful. It's perfect. People rave about it. And you're like, that took time to do that.
It makes us feel good, and it's something that I can see that will be part of our lives.
Right. For a long time,
as long
forever.
as we want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. So that's different than, like, we've been to places, we've been to Airbnb rentals where you can tell they did it in a week.
Right.
Like that. That's what. It's cute. It's fine.
And again, it's just a different choice.
And but you can tell, that not much, love was put into it.
So, do you know how I do that tour of our house when the renters come.
Yeah.
Could you imagine me, like, I'll have, like, a little cane?
You won't be able to get up the stairs.
No,
You'll be like, going up.
No, like, I'll hobble, and people think I'm a cute old man.
Just bring a cane now so people think that about you now.
Yeah. I dress like an old man.
I know,
so.
I'm looking at you right now. You look like an old man.
Okay, so those are some of my big ideas I had.
Your ponderings.
Yeah, my ponderings. Because, like, these are things I think about when I'm taking pictures of, like, old things. I'm just like, why am I doing this?
Well,
and these are the things I think of, you know? It's important that I say it.
Well, it's
I need a voice.
You have a voice, trust me. It's important to think about it because I think a lot of times with certain business ideas, like us being like list it and forget it, that's a slow business model.
Right.
List it and forget it is a slow business model for online selling. And in a way, this sounds weird, you're justifying what you're doing. You're like, this makes sense to me, and that's why I'm doing it this way. It doesn't make sense for everybody. Redoing a house for 3 years, that made sense to us.
And, you know, so far our numbers are backing us up.
Right, exactly.
Because I would love to know. Because, again, this is not saying one is better than the other. It's whatever people's expectations are. I would love to know someone that sells on, like, Amazon FBA and does very well. I just wonder if that's something that they'll do for 10 years, 15 years. You know, like, is that something that people think of, like, this is my life that I'm going to continue to do forever? Or do they think of it, well, this is just something cool now, and then next year I'm going to do something else? I don't know. I would love to hear anyone that sells on FBA if they think that's a long-term thing for them,
right?
You know. Okay.
So we just talked for 40 minutes.
Oh my god!
Before even doing the numbers.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, these are our numbers, and this is, you know, this grounds our conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, in our main store, we sold 26 items, but we made almost $1,700.
Yeah.
And actually, it's still Saturday, so we could still sell stuff.
Right. So we're recording a little early. We've
been trying to record on Saturday, so we aren't being forced to do everything on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And our average price was about $65.
What?
Which was good because we were selling some high dollar items.
Yeah.
Our second eBay store, we sold about $230.
Yeah, it was low.
7 items. There wasn't a lot of action in that store.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll take it, you know. Bonanza, we said was doing very well. We made $385.
$385. I just all day long for the past few days, Bonanza sale.
I think we sold 12 items, which, you know, doesn't really seem like a whole lot, but for Bonanza, that's a lot.
That's huge.
And then on Amazon, we actually have some stuff on Amazon, a merchant fulfilled.
Yeah.
And we rarely sell anything on Amazon. We sold a $60 book. Or was it 60 or 50?
It was 60, but with all the fees, it came out to 50.
Got it. Yeah. But it's cool. It's nice.
Yeah, I show on the video. It's like a vintage, like limited run kind of artist's poetry type deal book from 1969.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually one of the death piles that I forgot to talk about. I have 6 bins of books that I've been collecting over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find books that it looked like they were small print.
Yeah.
Runs
interesting
or
artist books.
Art books. I have no idea. But when something like that sells, I'm like, that's what I was hoping for.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. So the other night I said, you were like, oh, I have all those bins of books. I was thinking we should just send them to FBA. That could be our first FBA experiment. I'm not sure. I don't know. But it might be fun to just, let's try one bin and see what happens, you know? Yeah. So we might do that. I don't know. We've been talking about it for like a year and a half.
So overall, we've made over $2,300 this week, which is great. Anytime we make over $2,100, and that's about $300 a day, we're happy.
Yeah.
You know, anything more than that.
Exactly.
And, you know, we talked about it last week that, you know, we're about to do this, it's metal roof.
Yes.
And we got to make $6,000 by the end of January.
Yeah.
So that $2,000 goes towards
helping
that. So
a lot.
it's good, you know.
Yeah.
All right, things we sold.
Okay, so we sold a pair of chairs. They're called Gunlock chairs. It's Gunlock with an E at the end.
It doesn't have anything to do about guns. It's just
it's
a man's name.
It's a brand of chair, but it's also people interchange it with a style of chair. Like this was not signed Gunlock, but I'm pretty sure they were Gunlock chairs. So we paid $5 each for these at a thrift store.
Who was it?
It was Jay. He pulled over to this thrift store.
Thank you.
Well, what was funny is we went in and we saw the chairs. There were 3. One was a swivel Gunlock chair that we sold. We talked about it a few weeks ago. We drove like 4 hours to meet this guy. Oh my God, it was crazy.
And we sold that one chair for $300.
3 something, yeah. So we were at this thrift store, and I was thinking this guy's going to want $40-$50 each.
He wanted it gone.
So we went shopping in there, and then we looked at them outside. I remember it was a hot day. We're standing outside. And then we ran back in, and we were like, how much do you want for those chairs? He's like, $5 each. And we were like, okay, we'll take them all.
So we sold these 2 chairs for $355 as a pair. So we made like almost $700 on all 3 of those chairs for a $15 investment. The cool thing about this is, so this is our experiment in local pickup.
Yes.
You know, we've talked about different ways we've been doing it, who's hungrier, if we're willing to drive it. These people lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
In New York City.
Yeah.
They were willing to drive down here to pick them up. We didn't have to say anything. It was just in their minds.
They wanted these chairs.
And they actually woke up early on New Year's Day.
They woke up at 6 a.m.
Drove down here 6 hours.
Yep.
Picked them up, and they were going to go stay in like Amish country or something on the way home.
Yeah.
But super fancy dudes.
Oh my God. These guys were driving a Volvo that cost as much as our house.
Right.
I was like, that costs as much as my house.
But you know, and they had a country place up in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
And like this is where and so again, these Gunlock chairs, they're like old oak.
Office
like,
chairs.
Beautiful.
1930s. You know what? I forgot to videotape them before we gave them to these guys, but I'll videotape the photos because you guys will see. They're gorgeous.
And the good thing for us is we're suddenly sold out of furniture. I mean, we have a couple
trunks,
but other than that, we've done good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, and I wish that we could sell furniture. I wish we had like a whole warehouse. I do.
I think it's tough though because you know people talk about this. Furniture is you know you can always buy furniture, especially at auctions because no one wants to store it. It is tough though because we don't really find that much furniture we would buy because it's got to be a certain look.
It's got to be a certain look and it's got to be a certain price. When you're selling Gunlock chairs to me for $5 each, I will find a place to store them.
Yeah.
And I don't care if I store them on, in front of my bed for a year, but it's got to be the right price. It's got to be the right style.
Something else we sold was, we talked about this. We bought, it was like 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
We were at a yard sale, and a woman had all these Barbie dolls.
Tons of
that
Barbie
were new
dolls.
in the box, although the boxes had wear on them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We don't know anything about Barbie. And we were like, how much can we get for $50? And she gave us $25.
$25, I think.
So it was $2.50 each. We put them all on Amazon. We sold 3 or 4 on Amazon.
Yeah,
this
sold
is
a few.
On a Merchant Fulfilled.
Yeah.
So we already had made our money back. And then we saw them in storage. And we were like, let's just put them on auction, which we don't ever do.
Yeah.
We started off at $99.
Yeah, because there's 17 of them.
And they sold for $108.
Yeah, so we bought them for $2.50 each. They sold for $6 each.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I just want them, at this point, I want them out of my storage.
It just
and they're gone, so.
It was a good experiment to show us that we hate buying that kind of stuff. Like,
I hate it.
Like, other people might do well with Barbie. We don't know.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about toys.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
We've actually been doing that recently. We've been using auctions just to dump stuff.
Move stuff.
And that's how we see auctions. We see auctions of like, I'm either going to throw this away or donate it. Or I'll just auction off for whatever I can get for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good business choice. It's just a way to clean stuff out. You know?
I mean, there was stuff in our storage because we were cleaning out our storage that I just gave away. There were like 3. There was a gun. It was a gun rack.
It was nice.
It was nice, but it was too big to ship.
Yeah.
And I can sell a gun rack if I can ship it. So I gave that away. We gave this industrial chair away, which was also very cool. But you said you found it for free, so I'm like, just donate it back. And we got this really nice Eddie Bauer stroller. But it was supposed to come with a car seat that hooked in, and it didn't. And I could not sell that thing to save my life, so I donated it. I'm like, Merry Christmas.
Yep.
Somebody gets a really nice stroller.
A
rocking horse.
Yeah.
I bought this rocking horse for $5 at an auction. It was also just a little bit too big to ship. Like, it was oversized, and like no one wanted to come pick it up. I put it on auction. It didn't sell, and I was like, it was right before Christmas.
Yeah, it seems like for us, our experiment in selling furniture has shown us that if someone's going to do local pickup or be willing to hire a company to come and pick it up for them, it's got to be like over $300.
Yeah.
You know? So it's got to be something substantial, something that's special. Like, people are looking for pieces to put in their house that are like show pieces or key pieces. So if it's not that, people aren't going to go through the trouble, for our opinion, you know?
Right.
In our opinion.
I was hoping for like the rocking horse, I would find someone who was local, you know, who wanted it, and I just couldn't find anyone. So
we also sold a fur coat, a rabbit fur coat for $50.
Yeah. You know, I do not do well with fur. Like, people don't buy it from me. So I put this at $50 and it sold. So, you know, it wasn't $100.
You know, I think some people have said they do very well selling fur coats, and that's great.
I can't.
We can't sell them to save our lives. It takes a long time to sell them.
So I was happy this sold for $50. I sold a true vintage Lily Pulitzer skirt. I think it was from the 70s. I had it up for $80, and I went back and forth with this person and settled on $60 for a wrap skirt. What sells for more are dresses. So skirts don't go for very much, so dresses.
So here's where I'm going to get educated. So I know the first time I heard about her was when she sold that stuff in Kmart.
It was Target.
Before Target, I mean, had she been like a fashion lady? Because when people sell in Target, I'm like, that's kind of low rent. Like,
okay, here's the deal. She died a couple years ago. Okay. So whoever made the decision to like buy in Target is her company now. She was huge, you know, in the 60s and 70s.
But like, had she been like high fashion or more like low, like Wieners and Mervyn's and...
No, I think that's not low. That's like medium.
Okay.
Low is like, I don't even know what low fashion is.
Got it.
I would say Lily Pulitzer was between medium and high. She's not Chanel, but she like resort wear. Think of those Stubbs and Wooten shoes are the same ladies who buy Lily Pulitzer.
Oh, okay.
So it's high end, but it's not like, you know, $2,000 for a dress. You know,
like who's that guy's name who sells like vintage clothes that we do? It's like John.
Oh, John Mayer.
Is it
John Mayer of Norwich?
Like
same thing. Okay. Yeah, where I think she's even higher end than John Mayer. Okay. Because John Mayer and Villager, like those types of things, those were like
the Villager.
They were high end. They were preppy, but like most people could buy them if they wanted to. I think Lily Pulitzer was a little bit higher end.
Ready to wear.
It is ready to wear.
Not haute couture.
It's not tailored. I mean, if you really want to get into it, I mean...
I want to get into it.
Like, okay, so we talk about this, where fashion changed in the 50s and 60s. Like, in the early 1900s to the 1940s, if you take a photograph of the city streets, people are dressed to the nines just to go to the, coffee shop. But then there was casual wear that happened. Like, we always talk about sportswear. Like, a men's jacket that's not a, like double-breasted or tailored. It's just like a ready-to-wear, zip-up, Harrington jacket. That did not exist until the 50s. Like, when our parents were growing up in middle school and high school, was like, they could wear, like, jeans.
Right.
That's like, to their parents, they're like, you're wearing rags that like workers in the fields wear, and these kids were like, so whatever. So Lily Pulitzer was making high-end stuff for, rich women in Florida, in the 60s, 50s and 60s.
It was interesting that skirt looked kind of like what they were selling at Target. It's just basically the same style.
Right. But back then that was a big deal because, like the early 60s were drab. And then the mid to late 60s and 70s were like bright colors.
Dropping acid.
Yeah, stuff like that. So anyway, I am no fashion expert by any means, but that is, know, what I know so far. This is going to be a very long podcast.
Something else that sold, a Barizzo shower head.
Yes, $240.
I had never heard of this brand. So these are things I learned when we first started redoing houses. We're like, I want nicer fixtures. Yeah. Where do you get nicer fixtures? Like, if you go to a Lowe's, it's like Delta, and I'm just like, this stuff it's nice, but I bet there's nicer. Yeah. And so we started to learn, and one is Barizzo.
Barizzo is a high-end made by Delta.
Really? But you can't buy it at, like, a Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't think you can buy it at
Lowe's. No, I don't think so. But, so the thing is, sometimes we'll find these super high... The box is damaged. It's been returned.
Companies just donate it to these places, and they probably get a good tax write-off.
Right.
For like the full amount, and then these places sell them for $20, $30.
Yeah. So we bought this, and it was complete, and the box was just damaged. I think we bought it, but like $25, and it sold on eBay for $240. So it's amazing.
Kind of. I don't want to say it's retail arbitrage, but it's kind of been our experiment with buying things that are kind of new in the box.
Yeah.
Like clearance kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, something else that sold, like I had mentioned before, this little aspirin tin, probably from the 60s or 70s, and it sold for $20. Yeah. Just this little, fits in the palm of your hand to...
Yep. But it had cool, like advertising, like cool...
Yeah.
Someone had linked to something on the blog recently where it was like a box of like it's Nestle Quick or something.
Oh, and it was unopened
from like the 70s or something. It sold for like $300.
No, it sold for $550. So it's like, why?
Well, because I mean, the only thing that I can think of is people that just those old advertising boxes. I don't know if people care so much of what's inside of it. Maybe they do, but I would think what they want is just the packaging.
Well, and I think part of it, I don't know if this accounts for the high price. Why did someone buy Nestle Quick 40 to 50 years ago and never open it?
Well,
why is it just sitting on the shelf?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a good question. It's what we ask ourselves for anything we find new that's 30 to 40 years old, like when I find shirts that are still in packages or, hardware that's still in the box, people just buy stuff, put it in a closet, they die, and then their kids are like, I don't want this junk, and they just give it away.
It's incredible. I love, like, the thought around that, where someone bought something, they put it away, and never looked at it for 50 years. It was like, wow, that's incredible.
Something else we sold was a vintage lineman's belt.
Yeah, so a pole climber belt where... someone's fixing a telephone line and...
Right. I mean, I don't think guys do it so much now. Maybe they do.
Some guys and ladies do.
So now they have those, it's machines where it's like a cherry picker. It's like a guy gets inside of like a little cup and like it goes up on an arm and they can like change things. I don't know how often they still do it, but back in the day, they would put on a belt and they would like climb up the pole.
Now, guys who use these too, guys and gals, a lot of times they are people who do tree trimming. We've seen those guys do it.
And so I had found some of these lineman belts and done very well. It's with them, like a newer kind.
Right.
So we were at a flea market, and I saw one in a bin, and it was covered in mold. But it was gross. Like a thick leather one. It had a brand on it, and I bought it for $5, and I brought it back from the dead. This is one of those ones where, I'm like...
You cleaned it up.
Yep.
So I had it up for $80 because it was vintage. Like, the newer ones sell for a lot of money. And then I worked with this guy, and I got an offer of $60, which is fine. because, it's vintage. It needs like a good oiling. But yeah, so $60. The thing weighs like 10 pounds by itself. But yeah, I was glad to sell it. It takes up a lot of room.
And then we just sold a bunch of just lots of random odds and ends. I mean,
Yeah.
I've said it's before. Sometimes I'm more excited when we sell older, things that have been in our storage for a long time or weird items.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad they're gone.
Just get them out.
We don't always make a lot of money on these things, but I'm glad they're gone.
Yeah.
Okay, customer issues.
Okay.
None.
We did not have issues with customers, but we did have issues with eBay removing items that said faux ivory. Now, I had a few, knives with faux ivory handles that were made out of plastic, but they're supposed to look like ivory. Different cocktail forks.
Right. Because it is illegal, and it should be illegal to sell ivory, because in Africa, they're, poachers are killing elephants.
Just for the tusks.
It's
horrible.
And then people make little trinkets out of it.
It's awful.
It's dumb. So anyway, it should be illegal, but then you can't even say faux ivory.
Right, ivory cannot be in there. So I think I had 5 items. They were plastic, but just said faux ivory. So I had to relist those, and I either took that out altogether or said faux bone, or if it was a color, they didn't unlist my shoes, obviously, where it said ivory for the color, but I did change that just in case to cream. Just don't even use that.
And for
word.
anyone it's new on eBay, this is not a big deal. I mean, this happens to us from time to time, where eBay will take items down because we're breaking some rule that we didn't know existed, whether it be like sometimes you sell a military item, it can't be sold. Certain keywords, flag things. So it happens. eBay's not like saying we're going to get destroyed. They just say, don't do this.
We just changed it.
And we don't do it. We were finding this week, or at least it's noticed it. We were getting a lot of people messaging us trying to get a discount or free.
Free shipping.
It's shipping on items, things that we didn't have best offer on.
Yeah.
And people really seem to be into getting offers or getting deals.
Yeah, so this one lady, and this happens sometimes, people have seen this happen. She said she wanted a cheaper price on a hat, and it was on one of the Tam O'Shanters. I've been selling those things like crazy without a problem, $40 all day long.
Because someone in the comments said that there's a movie called Carol,
yeah.
And it's up for an Academy Award, I think, and she, I guess, wears a Tam O'Shanter.
One of the characters wears
and I
it,
think that's why.
Yeah. So it got, people are like, oh, I really want that, whatever. So this lady was like, I can buy this I bought the same one for my daughter for like $18.
With free shipping.
Fine.
So I made a mistake. I was a little bit offended because, I was like, you can't even buy a new hat at Walmart for $17.
Which you probably can.
For $13.
Sure. Yeah.
But, this is a quality made in Scotland, like wool
vintage.
Anyway, and then she just started sending me links to ones that were as cheap as the ones she wanted. And all I said was, go buy those.
Go buy those ones.
I guess she just really wanted ours, but she wanted us to sell it at that price. But again, it's like, people who sell these things are cheap. It's like, I don't know how anyone's going to make money, on hats selling them that cheap. But,
if that's what they want to do, they can. And if people want to buy it from them, that's fine.
But that was it's a mistake. And
engaging with
I should never do that. And, I give people advice, don't engage. Sometimes you just can't help it. But, that's it's a reminder that when you engage people like that, it sets off fireworks,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those people can they just go crazy. Like, I'm not even joking. She sent us 5 messages after, and then she goes on a diatribe about, I don't even remember what it was, and you're just like, lady.
She was just like, I would never shop at Walmart. I'm like,
yeah, it's just something like, she said, I grew up in France. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, what are you talking about?
I basically just told her at the end, because I was into engagement. I was just like, we've got to make a living.
Yeah.
And you're not giving a fair price. And then that shut her up. Anyway, that's life. I was enjoying it, I guess, and that was the problem. All right, here's some eBay news. These are things we find when we're just reading the news that I think has to do with selling online.
Yeah.
There was an article about its returns that Americans are doing are becoming an environmental problem.
Huh.
Because, it's become so normal now, and Americans know that they can buy anything they want and they can return anything.
Yeah.
Because businesses are fighting for business,
right?
Sales, that they have very generous return policies.
Yeah.
So something like 15% of all e-commerce sales it's returned.
Wow.
And that, according to industry estimates, that's compared with 8% when people buy at a brick and mortar store.
So what's the environmental problem?
So the environmental problem, and I'll put a link to it, is that a lot of things that people it's returned, the businesses end up just throwing them away. So like when people buy on Amazon and send them back, buyers might, a seller might be, well, I'm not going to re-list it because it's been open. So they're just like, so they pay eBay, they pay Amazon to destroy it. And very often it gets thrown away or it gets bundled up, gets sold off to somebody else. Right. But, these things are ending up in the trash.
Oh my gosh. So crazy. Well, we've talked about that with Amazon where they say destroy it and then someone finds it for sale on Amazon. They're like, well, Amazon didn't destroy it. They just took it and we're reselling it.
I think that's just the thing. It's just, I don't know. It's not bad or good, really.
Yeah.
I guess it's more bad than good. It's just it's reality of like when everyone is buying and selling these like cheap kind of Chinese made products.
Yeah.
They aren't really worth anything. And, there's just factories that keep pumping these things out that it's not worth it to try and save these things. Right. It's just cheaper just to throw it away and just sell a new one.
That
and
sucks.
So just how it is.
Yeah.
There's also an interesting article on Amazon's continued domination. I found this really interesting. Like in this last quarter, the fourth quarter, Amazon is just outselling everybody online.
Everybody.
But what's interesting, though, is that they only made a $79 million profit on $24 billion in sales. So,
Jesus.
Everyone's like, Amazon's kicking ass, but they really aren't making a lot.
Right.
Because, and here's like an actual quote, Amazon has seemed to be in danger of getting trapped in a race to its bottom that brought it on with its steep discounting.
Right.
They're just trying to sell more by underpricing everyone, says Craig Johnson. But they realize that they would never make any money that way. They're evolving. It's a much different company now than it was 5-8 years ago. I'm not sure if that's true, but it is interesting that Amazon is really like everyone's buying from it. Right. It's such a good deal. Yeah. Free shipping. It's cheap.
Oh, it's the cheapest, you can find anywhere.
I just wonder if they can keep it up, Who knows?
People have been saying that since they started. They're like, they're not making any money, but they keep going. Yep. So
we love the deals.
Yeah. So what is our coming week going to be like, Jay?
Okay.
Tell me so I know what we're doing this week.
Got it. My coming week?
Yeah.
We don't have anyone staying in our rental till Friday. Yes. So we can just focus on this stuff.
eBay focus.
I'm just going to be broken its record here. Yeah. Those death piles. I'm continuing to do it. Yep. I'm determined to get through. We've chosen to scavenge this stuff. I'm determined to sell it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, I really have to focus on putting up art auctions. Yep. And I really don't want to do it because it takes a lot of research and pricing and blah, blah, blah. But I really have to do it. So that's my goal. It has to be my goal. Or else our house is going to fall in on us. Yep. With art. It feels like that. Okay, so now we're going to answer questions. You can always call us with a question or a comment on our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. You can also email us at thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hi, I love your show. Thank you so much for all you do. I've learned so much from you. I have a strange question for you, just an opinion. I found a book that had the owner's name stamped in the back of it. It was from an old shop. I listed the book, and then I looked up the shop online after I already had it listed, and come to find out the owner was murdered at this shop. I felt really uncomfortable about selling it, so I pulled it offline. Yet I feel, I don't know, I haven't parted with it yet. Just wanted to know your opinion, what you would do in this situation. Thanks a lot for all you do. Bye-bye.
Wow, so that's really crazy. I say, look, do what makes you feel most comfortable that allows you to sleep at night. And you did do that. You said it made you uncomfortable, you pulled it offline, and that's what you should do. You should do what feels right to you.
Yeah, but, it sucks that the guy got murdered, but, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, to me, I don't know. It's
well, I think it just depends on the person.
Yep.
Like, if that did not make you feel uncomfortable,
Yep.
like, it's a book, it's history,
Yep. So why don't we say we wanted to buy a house?
Yes.
And we learned that, like, if someone got murdered there, would you still buy that house?
That's an interesting question, because we actually met someone who moved into a house where someone was stabbed and murdered.
And everyone in the neighborhood called it the murder house.
Yeah. And they were like, what? That's weird.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, those things happen, they shouldn't happen, it's tragic, but life goes on.
Well,
and
also,
I would think that the bookseller, it would be like, I want someone to read this book. So,
right. Right.
I died to have this book be read.
Right. But also you have to think about it, there's so much history around you, like the house we bought, the farmhouse we bought is from the 1850s. Tons of crazy, weird stuff probably happened on the property, around the property, in the house. You never know. You'll never know what happened there.
But but I think she brings up an interesting point, because we've had things like that where we've found things and we've been uncomfortable selling them because they show, like, it might be one of those, like, Black Americana things that's very racist, and we'll be like, we're not selling this.
There have been several things where I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Things that just don't make you feel comfortable, and we each have to make the choices.
Right?
Because I'm sure there can always be a reason, pro or con.
Yeah. I think it depends on the person. It depends on the situation. It depends on the item, and you should just do what makes you feel right. And you did.
Hey, Jay and Ryan. This is Chris from flippingadollar.com. I'm calling about a comment from last week's podcast. You guys had a caller who talked about valuing your own time and hiring someone out to handle some of your business tasks. I don't know. I just wanted to mention that it might sound good on paper, but I think it can lead to a lot of other issues that I'd personally want to avoid. Once you're a source of income for someone else, you're just making your business exponentially more stressful. I mean, right now, if you guys have a few bad weeks, it's not hard to cut back your lifestyle a little bit. Once you have to pay someone on top of that, I don't even know how that would work. You can't force them to cut back too. They're just dependent on you and your income. On top of paying them a set amount per week. So if you're out shopping, and I think it'd be a lot easier to rationalize those $5 profit items that I know I'm trying to avoid. Not only are there more issues with the smaller profit items, but I don't want to have that additional risk there too. Plus, once you're hiring people and having them work for you could be good if expansion is your only goal. The thing is, though, you have to realize that literally right now, and that is definitely causing you to miss out on profit opportunities. Your skills are more important when you're recognizing value out in a thrift store or a garage sale. You're not making a lot of value for your items when you're just photographing or shipping. But that's the thing. I think you guys seem to care more about your lifestyle than just increasing and expanding your business. In the end, I think just understanding that you're setting some limitations on your end profits is fine, and you just have to be okay with that. To expand your business, then hiring someone could be really good. But personally, I'd rather just maintain my current pace of life. I'm not a business owner who's trying to answer to a board of directors and trying to get year after year growth like Wall Street businesses are. So anyway, that's just my thoughts. So hope you guys have a great New Year. Bye.
Okay, go. What do you think?
So again, he's commenting on, there was a woman that called and said, we should start hiring people to, like, clean our houses, or I guess the idea of, hire people to to list for us and photograph, like you only have a limited amount of time in life.
How much is your time worth?
How much is your time worth? So why not hire it out?
Right.
And, there's some sense to that, but I think we're more on, it's Chris's bandwagon here,
right,
where we're at the point in our business where it's all about sweat equity. We don't really have, it doesn't make business sense for us to be hiring people and taking on expenses to carry things on. And like Chris says, is that if we have a bad week, we don't have all these expenses that we have to pay. We don't have these people depending on us. Right.
It's minimal.
Yeah.
And, as tiring as it can get, cleaning the farmhouse, coming home, packing everything for eBay, blah, blah, blah. These are our businesses.
Right. But I think the other thing is, because, it's a big thing with like that guy that wrote the 4-Hour Work Week or something. Yeah. It's like a big thing is like, don't work a lot and make a lot of money, like hire it all out to like people in India and like all these services where people will do things for you. To me, at the end of the day is, okay, so what do you do with all that time? Is it like you're sitting on a beach, you're exercising, you're watching TV? I guess I don't really have that desire in me. Like, I want to be doing all these other things, but I have to be doing this. Right. I like what we do. Right. Like when we have to go and clean our rental house, I'm like, that's my business. Yeah. I want to be doing this. Yeah. I feel if it got to a point where I'm like, I hate doing this, I'll be like, I want to hire someone to do this. Right. Because that's what I did, and I'll mention it again, when I was having to cut our own grass, it got to a point where like, I hate doing this. I'm going to hire someone to do it. And I did. Right. So we're not at the point yet where we hate what we do. Right.
I mean, the great thing is, when we're cleaning the house, sometimes I feel funny. I'm like, that's it. I'm just a house cleaner. That's it. I'm like, wait, I own this house. It's not like I'm a house cleaner for someone else. I own this place, and I'm getting all the money that these people are giving me to rent the house. So that's a different feeling, So, yeah, it's just, I think different people do business differently.
Right. And I think we all have to make those choices between your income and your expenses. And if you can make those balance, then cool.
Cool, man.
Hi, Jay and Ryan. This is Alex. I wanted to make a comment on a caller's question from last week. He called in and asked how someone could find his store. And you probably know this, but if you go to the first page of eBay and you go all the way to the right top, underneath the cart, it says Advanced. If you click on the Advanced, it'll bring up a new window. You go all the way to the left, and under Advanced Search, it'll say Stores, Find Stores. If you click on that, you can type in someone's store, and it'll bring up their store. And I also want to comment, you said you didn't think there was much of a reason for people to find a store. But I sell high-end collectibles in silver, and I deal with a lot of collectors and a lot of dealers. I wish I dealt with more at this time, but that'll build. I also work a couple days a week in a high-end store. And I do tell people about my business, and they all want to be able to find my store because they say, I've met you, I feel you're someone I can trust. I can look you up and see what you have, and I'd like to follow you. So I do get followers that way as well. So that is one reason. I think if you're, if you're selling a lot of random items, no, I don't think there'd be any reason for somebody to follow you because whatever comes up, comes up. But if you deal in collectibles, that might make a big difference. So just food for thought. Thanks so much. I enjoy your podcast. Bye-bye.
Okay, yeah. Okay. There's like 5 different ways for people to find each other's stores. To me, look, it doesn't matter if someone finds your store. If they're on eBay looking for items and they find your items, they'll buy them.
But what she's saying is she has an experience or imagines having experience of like working with dealers who want to be buying from you on a consistent basis. Like a designer who's like, I'm always looking for vintage stuff. I'll troll your store. Right. What's your store name?
And you just send them the link.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest thing is like this. Give me your email. I will email you a link. I mean, that to me is easiest. But yes, people on the blog and this nice woman here, There are ways to find it. You just have to click around. But the fact that it takes so long to explain it is just
it's crazy.
An issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. People seem very like.
Well, you know what?
Everyone seems very passionate about how to find your store.
It's like when people ask us about our rental. Like the guys who came down and got the chairs, they were like, "Oh, I would love a link to your rental." Well, I emailed him a link to the rental. You know, like it's just funny. I'm not going to be like, okay, it's airbnb.com/rooms/room 16854. It's just like, I'll just email, I'll text it to you.
I guess,
you know? I don't know.
I wonder if people, like Etsy seems to be more about like stores because people it's curating a store, whereas it's curating my eBay store. I wonder if on Etsy, if it's easier to tell someone how to find your store, or if Etsy makes it easier, or if it's just the same way.
Let's look on Etsy real quick. Okay, so I'm on Etsy, right? And I'm on my store. This is the Etsy link. Etsy.com/shop/my username !ref equals HDR_shop_menu. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the reason why we kind of blow this off is just because since selling full time since 2008, we might have had a handful of times where someone's like, it's your store, like in real life.
You know what?
And normally those people aren't really serious. They just find out we sell on eBay and they're just interested. But I don't actually think they're going to ever buy anything from us. And we're just like, oh, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, I mean, one time at an auction, someone was like, oh, I'm an eBay seller. This is my username. And they said their username, right? And we found them through that, right? Yeah. And that's fine. That's a way to do it. But, it's just, I don't know. This is way too long of a discussion.
It's real quick because I think this is an interesting story. When we're at auctions and we find the people that sell on eBay, because they're often they become our competition.
Yeah, they are.
It's nemesis because, they see the things that we see. So we always try and find out what their store is so we can look and see.
But we'll never give them our store. No one's ever asked us.
Well, because we don't tell people we sell on
That's true.
eBay.
There have been a couple of people that just straight out say they sell.
But there are the people at auctions that are like, they openly have their phone out with eBay and they're like openly searching and scanning and looking, and and they're very open about it's what they do, and I'll ask them their names and they'll tell me, and now suddenly I'm following them to see what they buy and sell. I love doing that.
It's funny because the original person who gave us their username, I can't find them anymore. I don't know if they changed their store name or something.
I think sometimes people burn out.
Yeah, they just they find other venues.
Anyway, very interesting store names. What's your store name?
How do I find you? stores.ebay.com/4568/user_. It's like, dude.
Okay.
Dude.
Okay, thank you for being with us today. All the links we've talked about will be at scavengerlife.com, and you can also join the conversation there as well. You can call and leave a comment or question about something you heard.
Our phone number is 540-407-8486.
We post an episode every Sunday night, Monday morning, depending on our schedule. Then Wednesdays we do a What Sells video, where you can actually see the stuff that we've bought.
Yes.
And how much we paid for it.
No, how much we sold.
We saw it sold, sorry.
Yeah, and how much someone else paid for it.
And we've done a couple of interviews with some cool people, so we will be editing those at some point and putting those up. One is Dan, the one that does not do measurements, and he's actually hiring people out to do a lot of his work. He's a very interesting guy, cool, smart guy, so I just want to hear that. And then we did a follow-up with Martin from GarbageFinds.com, who is actually interesting because, he really started out as like a real kind of street scavenger, and he's really kind of upping his like business game.
Yes, he is.
And he's being more aware of it. His blog is just getting better and better, and just incredible.
I love Martin.
Incredible of things he finds.
He's great. So look forward to those interviews. I will make time to edit them and put them on the blog. I promise.
And you can subscribe to us through iTunes and YouTube, so you always get the latest. And you can always check out, if you're bored, you can always check out our other podcast, shampooandbooze.com.
I love how you just said, if you're bored.
You know, if you're just like...
If you're like, what's another podcast I can listen to? Let's listen to shampooandbooze.com.
Booze.
Booze. Okay, we're ending this podcast. 3, 2, 1, bye.